webinar first and pop out the live chat just in case. Probably nobody is going to join, but who knows? So we'll get that going. Let's see if this works. Yeah, so I've got the Zoom up over here. Usually I put this one in gallery view, and I think I can even spotlight mine actually, because that's where a lot of stuff is going to be happening. And then, okay, I doubt anybody's going to join, but if they do, then I've got, oh, let's go here first. I have chat going on the live stream, plus kind of a backlog of what I'm going to be talking about here. If needed, I can go over to PowerPoint and just point out some stuff, and I've got a bunch of stuff teed up on Mural. Yeah. And yeah, I'm going to start Zoom on this computer. I'm going to go back to this one. So I have a computer, go away. No. We'll just turn that off. I do have, all right. So I think I can add you as host as well. So let me get Zoom going on this computer.
Yeah, I'm good with just this one right here. Whatever you want to do on your end is fine, but
I'm going to narrate through what I'm doing, but I have some things to do. So I'm going to turn Zoom on this computer and join a meeting. So we've got, let's see, I've got the meeting ID and password. So the meeting ID is 916-272-3670. I should probably not say all of it out loud. Join that. And then hopefully this passcode will work. Show. And okay, and then I'm not going to say this part out loud since we're live streaming. Let me put in the passcode, and I think it masks it. Yep. Join this. Nope, that doesn't work. All right, so then I'm going to go into Mail over here and hit the link. Launching Zoom. This is where it gets weird. Join the video, but we don't need audio. Continue, and then we're going to pin. Oh, I'm not host, so I can't. Oh, shoot, I forget to. Dang it! I forgot to log in. Dang it. Sign in first. So much technology.
I know.
Oh man, come on. I think my wife is using my Zoom account now or something. I don't know what's going on. Join without video. Okay. But then I can't pin your video, so I can't pin yours. Dang it. That's too bad.
I've got you showing up twice, though.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to be able to pin your video over here, and I don't have that ability. So I don't think I can do that unless I'm made host. Let's see. No, I
I
can.
got you as co-host right now.
Yeah, that's weird. I can pin over here. All right. Well, I might not worry about that. I want to get the, so I have this like host and guest thing. So if I can get this extra one to work, give me 2 seconds here. Got like 4 minutes.
A couple minutes after 5 anyways.
All right.
I'll see everybody. Hello, Dawn. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Rob.
Hey Rob, are you guys recording this one?
I will.
Awesome. I'd like to chuck it out to a couple POs that can't make it to this session.
Yeah. Some background noise from somebody. You there?
Yep, we're all here.
Oh, you got a double thing going there.
Yeah. And I was trying to get just you as a guest and pin your video, but I can't. All I can do is chat with you over here, or what I'm going to do is put it in speaker view. No, because then I infinitely regress. So unless I can pin your video over here. So on the other one where I'm co-host, I was trying to allow that other computer to pin, but I can't seem to allow for that.
It's not, it was a nice thought, but
Yeah, it should work if I was host, but I don't think otherwise it's gonna work. And I might do some stuff under my document camera here. Hey everybody, how's it going? Just had about 15 minutes to do a little checkout before beginning. So getting it all together.
yeah, I usually start, a couple minutes after the hour. We got people still logging in.
Yep, cool.
Usually 5 o'clock, there's 30, and all of a sudden within 5 minutes or so, we're gonna have a ton of people. So
All right.
yeah, we had well over 100 people RSVP, but I know we won't get that many.
So I guess you don't want to make me host. I don't think I can pin over here without that. It's so weird. I can so on this computer, no problem. I can pin videos, which is super weird because it's also me logged in on this computer down here that has a gallery view turned on that won't allow me to pin videos. It only allows me to hit chat, which is super weird. So
I see my I see everybody in the gallery again.
yeah, but can you see when I hit yours, it just says chat. It doesn't say pin video. And while it does, again, On this computer, it does. It allows me to pin video, and I'm signed in as the same account on this other computer right here that's not allowing that. So who knows what's up with that? And so I might just that connection. And then we've got, oh, bit of an agenda going too. So I'll leave that up at least. And in case anybody shows up on the live stream, which I doubt.
I've got 501. We get one more. Get there.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Aaron.
Hey. Now I can get the chat going, which is nice. Let's get out there and get rid of that. That way, if anybody says anything in chat, we can all see it there. Of course, if you private message me, everybody will see that too. All right.
I'm going to start in a minute.
All right. Well, I can remove spotlight so people can see you.
Just tell me when you're ready. I think we're ready.
Anytime you are.
Got like 50 people or so, and I've got 2 after, so yeah, we'll get going. Hey guys, just I'm going to tell you, hey, it's Rob. Hello everybody. If you want, put your cameras on so we can see everybody. It's easier to talk to people when we have, I can see who's out there in the virtual land, and Aaron can see who he's talking to. Hey. So wait, I see a lot of familiar faces. Hey Joe, how are you?
What's happening, Rob?
I'm okay. Melissa, how are you? You're for your kids there.
Yes. We'll see class, but
I saw him in the last PO class. It's all good. All right, so guys, it's a few minutes after 5. I think most people have signed on. I am going to record this. So I'm just telling everybody right now, I'm hitting the record button because people who can't come tonight want to watch a little bit. So here's the record. Fair warning. Here we go. And we're recording it. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. I'm with Aaron Sanders tonight. I appreciate all of you guys joining us for our product owner meetup. I'm Rob Kalman. I think I know most of you, and those of you who are dialing in from some coworkers telling you about our product owner workshops. I own Michigan Technology Services in Farmington Hills. Some of you are out of state. We're a suburb of Detroit. We do think Agile. Everybody do think Agile. We do Scrum Master, Product Owner, Agile Leadership, Agile Coaching. That's what we've got going on here. And Aaron and I work together. Aaron is a certified Scrum trainer with Scrum Alliance. And he and I have done some advanced product owner workshops. Some of you on the Zoom call have taken with us. I've done a series of these meetups. And since a lot of people are working from home, it's going to be a cool way for clients and friends just to learn a little bit on the side. We keep it to about an hour. And Aaron is going to, I'm going to let him introduce himself and his background and things like that. He'll probably talk for 20, 25, 30 minutes. We'll see how he goes. And then we're going to run sort of a lean coffee afterwards. If you guys have questions and you want to ask them, feel free to go ahead and ask. I'll take the recording of the meetup and I'll post it on my website, michiganagiletraining.com. There's a section in the meetup page where there's a link you go to. All my meetups have been archived and the videos have been uploaded, so you can share them with coworkers and colleagues and things like that. And Aaron?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna pitch it over to you. Introduce yourself.
Okay. All right, I'm going to spotlight my video for everybody. I'm Aaron Sanders, aka this Agile guy, and thanks so much for taking time out to join us today. I was looking at gallery view of all the people attending, and also some of the cameo appearances I was noticing too. So thanks for joining. And I've been working with Rob a little bit, and he has me running some of his advanced product ownership classes. That is nominally the theme of what we're doing. And let's see if I can get this going. What I was thinking about here is to start by talking through product domains. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to share, oops, sorry. That is not, still playing with technology. Let's see, that might be what I wanted. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. All right, I thought I'd get started by talking about different product domains and then talk about, is it a product or a service? See who's doing what out there. And again, I think I should get this. I have a .vote going on here too. And so before I forget, I want to put this link to this mural board in chat. You don't need to be signed in. If you want to add your name, you can. When you get to that mural board, it'll assign some anonymous animal for you. It's one of the reasons I use Mural, but that way you don't have to look at what's over here. You can look at it on your computer as well. Okay, then one thing, I've been talking a little bit with Jeff or Patton on this product or service thing. And if you don't know Jeff, he talks about product all the time. Just hang out with him, go skiing, he's going to talk product at you or with you. And even talks about how services really can be products. So I thought we could talk about a little bit or chat about what you have in your domain and define that a little bit. Talk about different types of products, product enablers, endpoint products, that sort of thing. I'm also really a fan of the product ownership team. Thought I could talk about that a little bit. Some of the effective discovery practices, and one reason why I shared this board with you is I thought, well, we could try some. Why just talk about it? And over here, way over here on the side, I have a few different practices for ideation, user research, etc. And we can come up with some sort of simulation or something to maybe try out a little bit of that. That might have to, depending on how many people we have, might have to happen in breakout rooms. I'm not sure. All right, so I guess I'll just get going then. And who knows if I'll hit the right button over here. I did. Hey, look at that. I wanted to start with just a little bit on different product domains, and then wondering which product domain you happen to be in. I have been a consultant for some time, and as a consultant, you have to get good at drawing your 2x2 grids. Matrix here. Trying to get better at the no look. If I get good at the no look, they say they might allow me to be a senior consultant, and then they'll let me do 3x3s. But right now, just stick to these 2x2s. And then in these product domains, we have areas like, well, let's get a different color here. Things that face a consumer. And there are also a lot of those that are more opt-in. And I would say potentially a company like Spotify might fit nicely inside that that product domain. However, there's also, instead of those external facing products, there are internal or even enterprise facing products, and still those that are opt-in. And maybe I would put something like Slack in this place where you can download and use it. Maybe it gets enough usage inside a company to be widely used. Part of the problem, it seems like, with a lot of these optional things used by an enterprise is getting enough critical mass on any one tool and not having too much of a disparity of tools or a little bit of information in a lot of different places. And but I wonder if maybe that's where you are building products. Then there is also more mandatory. Sorry, I just hit my microphone. Products. And when we talk about enterprise mandatory products, accounts receivable, payable, all of that, that's usually what we would classically call information technology. And that's where, honestly, a lot of products might be a service, might really be a product, or some sort of enabler. That would be a product type, and allowing people to do their jobs or build products or build platforms or whatever else. So a lot of that information technology are these services that are product enablers and might also carry along their own product, some way to operate with it and create more virtual machines or storage or something like that, and infrastructure, or being able to customize SAP, all of that kind of stuff are services for an organization that also have a product in it. And then finally, mandatory consumer applications. I can only really think of one these days I would put in that space, and that would be utilities or other maybe managed type monopolies, where when I move and I want to get electricity here, I have one utility company to call up and make that happen. And in chat, I am curious, and look over here, where are you in this mix? Are you a consumer-facing product like Spotify, or more building something for enterprises that people can optionally use, maybe more in this classic IT space, or in a more mandatory type of consumer product? I think part of this and part of this question is also that product ownership varies by these different product domains. This is the place where you'll also hear people, get a little stick figure going here. A lot of people over here talk about our business, and these internal kinds of customers might be our business, or as a product owner, you might be part of that business. And over here, it seems like a lot of the language, instead of our business, is about our customers. And inside product organizations, usually really understand who is buying that product, who is using it. Now, Spotify is also in this enterprise or B2B space as well, because they can, as a consumer product, get to end users that somewhat are somewhat of a customer. You choose to download and install Spotify. However, their customer are really labels, and there is that business-to-business relationship to get a label signed up in Spotify to be able to get that music into the catalog as well. All right, just looking at chat here a little closer. I can't quite see it on this laptop that's over. I sometimes use on the side. So just looking. All right, lots of enterprise, lots of consumers. And a big enough organization, you probably get a little bit of all of it in there. So the question is, do you feel like as well, and I can throw this into chat. Is your company more of a product or a service company? Back in 2008 to 2011, I worked with Rally Software before the Broadcom and CA Tech and all of that, back when they were completely owned, I guess, by Rally in their and their investors. And this was a question we had all the time. Are we a product or a services company? Because we send these consultants, these Agile coaches out, and that's sure a service, but we also have the Rally tool people use to put their applications in. Both, yes. Yes, could definitely be an answer. D, all of the above can be an answer. Absolutely. Let's see if we can see this in chat at all. Probably not. There we go. So I bring it. For some reason, you know what I'm doing? I'm hitting the wrong button. So I keep wanting Rob to show up, but that's not going to happen. I put some new stuff together specifically for this presentation, and I'm so habituated to pressing in certain places for things, and then I press that place, and it's a different thing now. So sorry about that. What was I trying to do now? I think I was trying to get this thing here next to me again, and then just looking through the chat of are we product or are we service, or of course D, all of the above. Can we be both? And we're both a lot of that. Part of this too, I think, is if you are a product owner, product manager, I like Melissa Perry's take here on the difference. You're hired as a product manager, that's your title, and then your job when you're inside a company is really feeling that ownership of the product. So that's more your job, product owner, or your title is product manager. And then I find it's necessary with product development teams to really talk about, is this a product? Is this a service? Is this some sort of product enabler? And really talking about what is your product type. So maybe your organization is a product or service organization, or both. And then for you specifically, where do you focus? Do you feel like it's more about service delivery, or are you building products? And I do like a definition of this, again, talking with Mr. Jeff Patton, and the difference for him between a product and a service type of company. For instance, Spotify would be a product company, because as a consumer, if I stop paying for that, they're going to take access away. Where a service company, we had some hydro seed put down right before the snow came here last week in Colorado. And the hydro seed, that company is more of a service company, because I get the product. I'm buying this product, and along with it, the service to deliver it, and then I get to keep it. They're not going to come back and take it away from me. And that's a way maybe to start to also think of the difference between if you're more on the services side or really on the product side, is does the consumer get to keep the end product, or do you as your organization hold on to it? Can you share on the larger screen? Yes. Let's see. We'll see. If I hit the right button, we can. There we go. And if you joined late, I'm going to put this back in chat too. Another thing that we're looking at is this mural board. It's really not all that interesting at the moment. It's me shuffling sticky notes as I talk about things and try to hit some buttons here and there. And yeah, I've got the chat going just to try to be mindful of that, and we can all see that too, and it gets recorded, which is kind of funny. I think a little bit meta. All right. Okay, so we got product, service, majority product, and some service type company, and then just fine graining a little bit now for you specifically on your team. What kind of product do you think it is? And starting to look at maybe product types. And I think about, for instance, there was a website for the hydro seed company where I could put some information in and get a quote. And so while it's a service to have some new seed here on the ground, they're also building that product. It reminds me when I was working with a hospitality company. We're obviously a service company, except you're building all of these apps, not only to check in and check out, but managing the back end and the back office. They were building a lot of different products as a hospitality service company. And I think about then there are product types. Try to do this here. Whoops, Brian, you get that chat. Let's try for everybody this time. Product types and endpoint products like a credit card. And then there are enabling products as well, like the website to sign up for the credit card. All right. Seeing if anybody can just say, this is, I'm on a product team. This is we're definitely a product company. This is our product. Or even inside service company, if you can really define this. I mean, just defining the term product can be something that is a struggle for a team and organizations to think through this. It's a lot easier to help product teams work together and really engage in the overall vision and goal if they're buying in of not only what we're building and why is behind and the why behind it, but understanding what kind of product we're building and who our customers are. It helps with some of the discovery stuff, which I feel like is a big part of a product owner job. And these days, start to talk a lot more about a product ownership team. And in a product ownership team, we're trying to cover a whole lot of things that would be really tough to do as a single individual. And this is something that I take from Marty Kagan. He talks about product solutions have three main dimensions. First and foremost, we're looking at if it's valuable. And here, answering the question of what do people need? Not what do they ask for, but really what's behind that ask and where is the value for them? What's their pain point? Where are they struggling? Then sometimes trying to get to that value, the usability, the user experience can get in the way. So we also want to make sure that that product solution is usable. Here's something that I've recently learned. I've known for a while that user experience is not user interface. And what I recently learned is that Walt Disney is responsible for user experience, specifically that term, that he didn't like what was going on with a lot of the circuses and carnivals and wanted to put a theme park together with a real high quality family experience. A lot of FinApps, it looks like, happening when I look at the chat there. And the question behind this that we're asking is, this is, by the way, Marty Kagan. He talks about in his book, Inspired, building products customers love. So do they heart the experience? And there is a lot in that, from user research and visual design all the way through to information architecture and industrial design for hardware. There's a lot of things packed into, and maybe even more than one person or one career of skill behind making sure that the product is also usable. And then, of course, we want to make sure that the solution is feasible for us to build. And that is another question to have answered. Can we build it given our technology and the people that we have and the skills and the time that we have? And so really the product solution is that little almond in the middle there of a valuable, usable, feasible product solution. I think design thinking talks about desirable, feasible, and I can't think of the third term right now, but very synonymous to this sort of thing. This might be you understanding your product category and type, and if it's really a product or a service as the product owner. And it's pretty common to see product managers, product owners get together with somebody out of user experience, a designer, to think through some ideas and solutions. And it would be a great idea right out of the chute to have somebody from development and from the product development team working there side by side, really thinking through and helping a team answer these questions. And another thing that I try to focus on is self-generating teams that can control their own destiny quite a lot more. And that includes connecting direct with customers. And I think about John Cutler here. He talks about the evolving role of a product manager, moving away from things like ship it and forget it to iterate and monitor, and from being the go-to for the work and the customer to being more of a facilitator and connecting teams directly to their customers. And I think that's a big part as well of Scrum, is trying to help people go to the source. There are, as you might know, 3 sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth. And going as a whole product team out to talk to customers, working together through prototype testing and doing usability testing, one, helps with shared understanding, but helps get all of these different angles on problems and the solutions. And product development, these are nearly intractable problems. They're what Dave Snowden calls wicked problems. They're so difficult that they're nearly intractable, and they are adjusting as we're applying solutions to them. And so the relationship between the problem solution space is so tangled and evolving so fast. Having product teams go out and investigate the customers by themselves might help shorten the distance between identifying a problem and applying the solution to it. Oh, yeah, PO is product owner. Thanks. I always love it when other people are helping out in chat. Just by maybe in the reactions here, I think you can raise a hand, or, whoa, you can do a thumbs up. How many of you currently are working on a Scrum team, or maybe a product owner on a Scrum team, taking more than a passing interest in Scrum and Agile? Oh, look at that. Got some hands and thumbs. All right. And with your teams and organizations, are you helping to facilitate between product developers and customers? Are you working together through some of these discovery practices? Are you working together as a product ownership team? I don't know how to do this exactly. I think there isn't that many of us. I think we could probably just unmute and talk for a minute here. I'd be okay with that. I'll even I can unpin my remove spotlight on my video here. And something else to talk about here a little bit in remote situations. some things that we can do. And one thing that I can do is take on the role of stacker. For remote facilitation, might give that role out specifically to somebody, might also give a role out like making sure that we're staying okay on time. And for me, being the stacker, is I'm looking to create a stack of names of people that might want to talk right now. And what I'm looking at in gallery view is if you're on or off mute. So if you're unmuted, I'm going to jot your name down and then potentially call on you. What do you think about that? And the first person I saw and name I wrote down is Joseph.
Please call me Joe.
All right. All right, Joe.
So, what you're calling on me, and what am I doing?
Well, since you're unmuted, I was wondering if you're a thumbs up, especially on being a product owner. Are you working with others in product ownership? You doing all that discovery stuff? Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say besides yes, Joe?
So, well, I'm actually a product manager right now. I've had a few product owner roles, and yeah, I definitely take more than an active passing in Scrum and Agile. The company I work for now, we started off running SAFe. It was an interesting SAFe implementation. They have since abandoned it, and we are running more of a modified kind of Scrum framework. I guess, yeah, there's no wrong Scrum, right?
Yes, there is. Absolutely.
Well, there is, but I mean, everybody does it a little different.
That's true. Yeah. Some assembly required to make Scrum work. And a lot of that assembly I find is the discovery and product ownership. And that's a lot of the fuel for the delivery engine, and are some of the things that really aren't inside necessarily the Scrum framework that I feel like we need to do to make sure that we have the right shape of a product backlog and that people are bought into the value delivery to our customers, and even who that is.
Yeah, so I mean, going from PO to PM, I get a lot more direct customer exposure, whereas as a PO, it was more like internal facing with the team. Definitely doing a good amount of discovery, shadowing our users, that type of thing. And it was interesting this year having to really refine techniques for doing all of that remote. It's definitely not the same as being able to sit there and talk to somebody, or at least look over their shoulder and watch them work. Not to mention, it's nice to just be able to take them out for a beer. It makes things easier.
Yeah, I'd buy that. I mean, I'd buy you a beer, Joe, if we were anywhere near each other.
Yes.
I see P. Kotari. You're also unmuted. Is there anything you'd like to add to this about how or where you do product ownership? I feel like, thank you for joining in the Agile Meetup. And I know one of the things I used to go to in-person meetups, there's a little bit of socialization. So yeah, I'm trying to get us to talk to each other, maybe a little bit. No beers though. Sorry. All I have is a LaCroix, and I can't share it. I'm sorry about that.
Too many carbs anyway. I'm off beer.
So Picotari, is there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So in my role, I'm not really exactly product owner type of role, but I'm kind of in between where I have to, both. I have to wear both the hats, basically the Scrum Master and the product owner, because we are shared services IT type of organization. So when the requirements or the scope comes from the product side, they're not usually, they're not clear in terms of what they want. So they're just all over the place, and that's where I need to wear my product owner type of hat to really keep asking myself in my mind that what is the value that they're looking for? What is that product that will make them wow, right? So I'm always trying to find out what exactly they're looking for and where I can help them.
Yeah, and it takes a lot, right, to go deep and understand the need behind whatever the ask is, and to really understand what is it that people are looking for. And it also reminds me a little bit of start with why, which isn't necessarily a part of what I was thinking about with this talk. Simon Sinek, he talks about people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And that it's a belief, it's something emotional, that when people respond and hold similar beliefs, there's 3 pages of people here. I didn't realize how many people we had. I just saw the first page. I get it now. Since people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And product ownership, product management is about having this vision and helping other people see it. If you can help people have that wow moment to have their eyes light up and widen, you're probably hitting on something that is delivering more to a need or a perceived need for them. They're seeing what you're seeing a lot more that way. There is a little bit of a visceral reaction to it. Let's see, I'm going to scroll through page 2 and page 3 here, see if anybody else is unmuted to call on. No, doesn't really look like it. Next up, I wanted to talk about some effective discovery practices. And there are a few here in Advanced Product Owner. And let's see, let's just bring this up. And I might go back to spotlighting my video. I do have this on a mural board too, if there is enough time to maybe practice some of the stuff. The opportunity canvas is something to help with, especially if you're using a more dynamic opportunity backlog, to help get people on the same page with the vision. And sitting next to each other is the idea of both the product and the solution, because they're so quantum entangled. And working together using a visible model to have people really get onto the same page and share an understanding as to what the big idea is, what is the opportunity. And then once we understand that, we can, I'm also trying to see chat as we're going through this. We can also talk about who is most affected by that problem and solution. What do they do today? And leap of faith assumptions. What are we guessing at? Where do we know we're guessing? And if we're guessing wrong, we fail. And both the solutions today, well, actually all of it, but solutions today and leap of faith assumptions, I find are a great place to start with that product discovery. Solutions today, you can do all sorts of competitive analysis, see if that is good enough. And then where we're guessing, we want to do the research to clear those out. So the left side of this, pretty good for discovery. And the numbers are there to help structure a conversation and progress it. We don't necessarily have to paint by numbers to fill it out. And then when we read it out, it's more left to right. For instance, it's about to become ski season, and I'm really concerned with long lift lines. So maybe over here I could start with for skiers and snowboarders who don't want to just stand in line all day and currently have to check out websites, I'm thinking about ways for skiing. Now, some of my assumptions are that people would accurately report information like lift status. Are you going to give up your powder stash? So we need to do a lot of research around that. Now, if I get this right, the user value would be a lot more time spent skiing instead of waiting around, and then the metrics to measure that. So I read it more left to right. However, the numbers are just to help structure the thinking. I'm just going to blast through and look for some stuff in here. There's George and Dick, their personal weather station. Persona sketches are very helpful. I call it a sketch. I have a mural on this too. And then next to that is sitting there, the empathy map. With the persona sketch, pretty simple. A name, maybe a picture of the person in action, and then how they found us. what has them thinking about our product. And then, now that they are inside that mind space, what do they need? What problem are they trying to solve? And how do we respond? We don't list out everything we can think of for the persona. We don't list out everything we can think of for the product. So not only like on the opportunity canvas, are we looking for product solution fit? Now we're starting to look a little bit finer grained at user to outcome fit. The certain key characteristics of a person as a design target that matter for our product, and then the ways that we're going to respond to that. It helps with incremental release planning and making the releases a little bit smaller. So I don't have to just zoom through all the slides here. I do a little bit of sometimes ritual dissent. It's in ideation, we don't want to critique. However, at some point in time, we do want to have the time to critique. And Edwin de Bono talks about 6 thinking hats. Personally, I'm a fan of cats, and found this on Instagram, thought it was super funny. And it's also a little bit related to nonviolent communication. First, go find all the facts, then think about how you react to those facts. Then there should be the facilitator keeping us on track, that we're moving through these thinking modes together collectively. Now that we have facts and reactions, let's talk about ideas against that. And then what are all the positive aspects of those ideas? And then finally, let's go Grumpy Cat style and critique through some of that as well. But let's do it as a team. Otherwise, it turns into idea skeet shooting. We throw an idea out there, somebody else, blam, shoots it down. What kinds of ideas will you throw out there? They get pretty weak and myopic pretty quickly if they're critiqued too early. So we try to flow through these thinking modes as a team. And a couple of more discovery practices here in the advanced. User story mapping, however, do a lot of that in the basic class, and so many people are used to it these days. Here's something that has been gaining some traction too. As you're ideating to use a design studio, again, actually, as a whole team, I wish I could get rid of that little zoomy thing there. See if we can get that out of the way. You get like the picture-in-picture, but can I get the chat back? Nope. Oh, because I'm in presentation mode, maybe. I don't know. So part of this as well is I find as product owners and product development teams is you have to somewhat channel your inner Yogi Berra. He was a baseball player about a century ago, and he has some funny quotes like, don't look back, you never know what's gaining on you. Or when you get to the fork in the road, take it. And Lean Startup talks about get out of the building, go talk with people affected by your product and test those ideas with them. However, before just jumping to a solution, to one idea, maybe we could take a second and start to think through some of those options. And a design studio, I find, is a really good way for that. We start by working solo. Collaboration takes the correct sort of hit for having a lot of groupthink to it. And so having independent time to think and work for yourself and get into the zone is important before we get into collaboration, so we're not influenced to each other too much and bias too much. Then we share out. After we share out, we look at ways to combine, evolve the solution. There are different approaches to ideation. They're on the screen. If you don't want to draw, you could just write down some user scenarios, day in the life, one of your typical users. Comic booking, and this is from the example from designcomics.org, allows us to see context around a product. And you can see like it looks like panel 14, she's face palming a little bit there. And we can see she's frustrated with a very quick look. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. IDEO says, oh, well, if that's true, then a prototype's worth 1,000 meetings. This would be interaction design, looking at how we could maybe check out a house for sale virtually without having to go there. You can also do information architecture. That was interaction design. At the UI level and how it might look on different screens, you could get really deep and start to look at the system interactions. Sometimes besides personas, I'll work with organizations to create sys-zonas, system-level personas that go deeper. They go down into this architecture, and we characterize different system behaviors like personas, and we can write and map stories from their perspective. And one of them was to wave over a phone to wake it up. And so we characterize the sensor hub and the application processor and the kernel and how they interacted with each other and wrote those headless stories from those perspectives. Sometimes you can also go up from personas into org zonas, especially in more service-related companies. There might be a different product or service that you deliver for small to medium as opposed to big businesses, or different verticals, maybe enterprise versus government. There can be all sorts of things, utilities versus financials, etc. Anyway, back to the slide. Information architecture is a way to allow people to ideate through a potential solution. And for sure, when we were looking at hardware changes that had effect on software, a lot of product developers would be down at this level, or also flow charting. And this is deciding if that wiki edit should stay up or not. After people have a time to take one of these approaches, then we work together to each person to sketch that out. Then we talk about how to look through these different ideas, figure out what combines, and try to look at it from those personas' perspectives. And if it doesn't all combine, that's okay. That's that time to channel that inner Yogi Berra. Two great ideas, figure out ways to test them both through prototype, user research and interviews, whatever, to get away from the team and the organization and try to interact with customers. As Joe pointed out, that can be tough to do these days to get to users. There are some virtual tools out there, and I'm wondering if you use any of them. I find one that is well used today is usertesting.com. I'm also getting, I think, I'm going long signal from Rob, so we might stop and see if we have some Q&A here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we advertise it as 5 to 6. We can stay longer if you want to stay on the call a little bit longer, but I just want to be responsive to people's needs at 6 o'clock. Some people might have dinner plans and family obligations. I want to give people a chance to ask questions. If you guys, I don't want to sound like selling it. Aaron's going to be doing the advanced product owner workshop for me in early December. So if you're interested in taking an advanced course, you can contact me for that. But in terms of questions, Jaron, do you want to just let people unmute and ask away, or do you want me to have them chat the question and we can read them off, or what's best for you?
Well, I've started looking at chat, and already it's sparking some things in my mind. If you want to add some questions, that's fine. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here, past the kinds of products that you work on. Bert, the idea of value. There is for sure economic value. However, I find that there's many aspects to value. And one simple one is, do people actually use it? If we put things into production and people don't pick it up and use those features, how valuable was it? And actually, a good part of discovery happens post-delivery, monitoring what's happening in production and looking for insights there too, to figure out how to get more adoption and traction on different products. So people see values in different ways, depending on their goals. If they need it and they use it, that's got to be valuable. There is also net present value and all that kind of thing, but I wasn't necessarily thinking about financial, to be honest.
And that is primarily the product owner's responsibility, value.
Yes, absolutely. I find product owner is responsible for value and why. Over here somewhere, I draw a lot, like start with why, but I have the Scrum framework with the product owner standing there. See if I can find it. Explaining why, talking about that purpose, talking about that belief, and seeing if people respond to that. An area of collaboration actually in Scrum is on the product backlog of what to do. Product developers, they own how. They figure out how they're going to deliver that value, deliver against that need and the different tasks there. And the product owner needs to be very clear on why, on the overall purpose. Then we can work together on the what. Yeah, I can stop there. Let's see if there's a couple of other things in here. I was thinking about, for example, with the hotel chain I worked with, the product manager was talking about how do we help younger people become members? What do they need? What do they see as valuable in hotels? And then also business travelers and what they see as valuable, and just not having to always actually interact with the hospitality services on site. And so the what part of it was a check-in, check-out feature. But does that really help young people become members to this? Is the ability to skip the front desk like a business person also valuable to them? It's also a hard part of the product owner's job because different people have different ideas of what value is. It's qualitative. It's hard to quantify it. And all these different people with their different needs and different angles on value, you included, are sources of product backlog items, but figuring out how to prioritize those is certainly art as well as science. And there are some other economic factors like cost of delay. Would it be better to release now early with maybe a couple of defects in it, or hold up and wait for everything and wait for it to all be perfect? You know, what would be better? Is that cost of delay too much to start to get a return on investment? Am I sending the deck out? Well, as a matter of fact, yes. And on the that mural board is underneath the agenda are a whole bunch of resources, actually. And so if you double click on Google Drive, it should go in there, and it's under CSPO2. I was actually just pulling things out of the Advanced Product Owner deck. So that's all there. And it's also available on Dropbox. You don't need to have a Dropbox login. It should allow you in here. And again, CSPO2 and Virtual Deck is what I was just pulling some slides off of. Now, things I was drawing, I don't have that. I could maybe add some of that in a folder for this meetup or something, a couple of the pictures that I was drawing. And let's get this link back out. I also have, I don't know, every time I mention a book in a class for about a month, I would just write down the book I mentioned. And so this is a Goodreads list of 81 books so far. And the only things that go in my book list are books that I have read and probably applied in one way or another. So it's my greatest hits, not Goodreads or something like that. And let's see, let me get that again. This is the mural board that I'm showing. And you should be able to get there. You don't need to log in for that either. Now, some companies are also starting to block Mural because it is a content delivery system as well. You can throw images and all sorts of stuff on a mural board. So some companies are getting clever and starting to block that too.
If there's any other questions people want to ask while they're
Someone had asked in the chat the difference between product manager and product owner.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind sharing your thoughts?
Yeah, again, this is straight from Melissa Perry. she says your title is product manager. Your job is owning it, is being that product owner. And I like that. I was on the product owner learning objectives team a couple of years ago when all of this advanced and professional level came out. We worked together to create objectives that we thought were important for product owners. And when we came together as a team, we came up with working agreements, our own ground rules. And the two we had were to show that there's really no difference between product owner and product manager, and that product ownership is really a team sport. At best, it's the whole product development team, the whole Scrum team. At least it's maybe that triad, valuable, usable, feasible, looking at the market and user needs, plus the experience to get to those needs, plus is it feasible for us to build? So finding cross-functionality in product ownership is a super great thing. And I'll see a lot of times product managers working side by side with a designer. Pull in a developer immediately to start to look at, now you want somebody that's the person that wins the hackathon or at least submits into it. You want the designer same sort of way. People that are comfortable in ambiguity, and the goo of ambiguity is something Gene Tobacco liked to say. You got to get comfortable sitting there. So people that are okay with back of the napkin sketches, researching things, doing that kind of discovery, hacking things together, creating prototypes is really the core of that product ownership team that is optimized for the speed of learning. And we can learn 2 or 3, 4, 5 orders of magnitude faster than we can build. Lean Startup, that book's called Lean for Cycle Time. And Eric Ries talks about learning, cycling through that validated learning loop, build, measure, learn, like 50 times a day. Very fast cycles on learning the shape of the product before just building it. Making sure that we get the right product first before trying to build the product right.
I'm wondering if you have any insight on how to improve stakeholder engagement.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do wonder a little bit what's behind that question. And in the Dropbox, there's a little bit on user research about guided conversations and exploratory interviews with open-ended questions and some gotchas. Look out for leading the witness. They are great ways to talk to users and customers who are a stakeholder, and also to internal stakeholders, sponsors and managers, and making sure that we understand strategy and objectives and what are their needs behind what they're asking for as well. How do we serve the needs of stakeholders? Let's talk to them. And there's some stuff there in the Dropbox that might help for, it's related to user research, but any stakeholder tends to be a good idea to talk to them, make sure we understand and gain empathy with them and their needs.
Yeah, that's the problem I run into. Is like they'll have some like great ideas, but then when I try to get the detailed requirements around those great ideas on, you know, what exactly is the value and how do you see, that's when it's a quiet room. And
I gotcha.
I don't know. You know, I don't know how to like reach inside them and pull out the answer for.
Yeah, that is actually to me, you're getting at why we call user stories. That we get good at telling the story, the product story, and listening and getting the feedback and maybe getting into a little conflict, but getting good at telling those stories or finding ways to draw those stories out of other people. And actually, I encourage, if you're a product owner, don't worry about both extracting the details out from those stakeholders and writing them down. Worry about hearing it in a way that you start to get that vision going and then become a good storyteller. Figure out how to tell other people that story and maybe think through some of those prototypes and some of those discovery artifacts that really enliven that story. And then what I'm getting at is if you can get your product developers to start to write the stories and acceptance criteria, That is for the win, because you can start to see the reflection back of the shared understanding through that storytelling and really capturing those fine details and that agreement of how to proceed through these features, through the scope of these different stories. So don't worry about trying to pull it all out. Just like hear a lot of what they're saying and see if you're really getting the overall plot line, I guess, of the story from them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any resources for shiny new product owners with limited Agile experience? Dig through all of this stuff in Dropbox. And I also put my LinkedIn connection in there. So if you want to hit me up and want some more resources beyond the books and what I have in Dropbox, let me know. I'll find you a whole volume of information if you so desire. No problem. Yeah, you bet. No problem, Zach.
The one thing, Aaron, that I just wanted to kind of share, because Don was kind of making me think of some of the challenges that I've had is how can we leverage the Scrum Master in those conversations, right? If we're always focused on a boardroom setting to have those discussions, maybe there's opportunity to get to that level of understanding. Do they understand what the process is? Do they understand Agile? And just take that deeper dive. And maybe that's a safer environment for them to engage.
Yeah,
that kind of really gets to that partnership, that tight partnership between the PO and Scrum Master to help navigate organizational pain points.
Yeah, love it. And when I talk about whole teams going out to do discovery, include your Scrum Master, because this stuff is the assembly needed against the Scrum framework to actually make it work. Sometimes Scrum Masters will thwart a little bit of it because they don't see it as true or pure Scrum. And so making sure that they are part of the team, we don't want other people on our product development team as possible. So pull in product owner, pull in Scrum Master, pull in product development team, pair up, figure out who's the note taker, who's the moderator, go talk to your stakeholders, get back together and debrief. If your Scrum Master is a great facilitator, have them facilitate that conversation, but make sure that they understand all of these different methods and practices and maybe use them enough to understand their efficacy is super helpful to make sure that we have that team. And that, I think that's a big part of where I focus, is to make sure that we're teaming. We are a team. There's not somebody else over there, them, that we blame for this stuff. It's just us. And we're working together to figure out how to deliver to customer needs. And sometimes product owners get strong-armed out. Sometimes Scrum Masters get left aside. Not good. Personal opinion. Job shadow, right? Hey, I tell you what, Scrum Master person, I'll ride along with you, do your job for a day, and then tomorrow you ride along and do my job for a day. And then let's talk. What do we like about our jobs? What do we not like? Where can I help you? Where can you help me? Forget the stay in lane stuff. How do we co-create and collaborate? And that's actually part of Singe's work from Fifth Discipline. And he talks about in creating the learning organization, to get into co-creating requires mutual purpose. And that is akin to shared understanding. And again, now that's in your lane. That's in the wheelhouse of product owner, is purpose and the why and all of that. Once again, then you work together a lot better. Hey, thanks everybody for hanging out. Rob, I think I'm going to kick it back over to you. What's next?
Well, we had just an hour. I mean, it was a sort of more of a lean coffee kind of meetup tonight. It wasn't a very, as structured as we've always done these kind of meetups. It was an opportunity for you guys to hear a little bit about product owner skills, and really an opportunity for you to ask some questions. So if you guys, if you have to go, you have to go. If you want to ask a few more questions, really it was just a way for you guys to get together as product owners and for free. So for the community, really. So any questions for Aaron?
And again, feel free to hit me up offline, keep my LinkedIn information there and use that. And I think I'm going to go off air now. And I don't mean hang up on Zoom. I mean, I've also been live streaming all of this to YouTube. So